What's going on, guys? Thank you so much for tuning in to Latest Hoops. Today's video, we're going to be discussing the next step for every NBA team in the Western Conference. We're going to be starting at the 1 seed with the Nuggets and finishing off with the 15 seed at the Rockets. Be sure to stay to the end so you don't miss out on hearing about each of these teams. Without further ado, let's jump right in talking about the Denver Nuggets. The next step for the defending champs is to re-sign Bruce Brown if possible. It's going to be very hard because they have a little bit of an interesting situation going on with their mid-level exception. Besides that, I would say just try to stay healthy this season. Due to them making the NBA Finals and winning, they had the longest season next to the Miami Heat, and health has definitely been an issue with this team in the past, obviously with Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray. It's time to just focus on rehabbing and resting your body and trying to stay in shape in the offseason. The next two moves, I would say, in addition to that, would be to just, especially if Bruce Brown isn't going to be back next year, continue to develop Christian Brown and Peyton Watson. These guys are definitely really great for the culture, and we saw a lot of really great games out of Christian this postseason. Aside from that, there's not really much that this Denver Nuggets team needs to assist with, considering the fact that they are the defending champions. At number 2, we got the Memphis Grizzlies. This is going to be a very interesting season for the Grizzlies. The addition of Marcus Smart raises this team's defensive ceiling a ton, as he and Jaren Jackson were the last 2 defensive players of the year. Outside of that, you have a decision to make with Dillon Brooks and the potential signing of Draymond Green. I think that the move for next season for this Memphis Grizzlies team is to just keep Ja Morant in check. If you really believe that you're a contender with Ja, then do whatever it takes to keep him out on the court. I personally don't believe that he makes this team a contender for the finals. I think the game is just a lot different, and his play style doesn't really yield lots of success, but I am seeing the narrative and agenda being pushed a ton that, oh, if Ja Morant doesn't miss time this season, we beat the Lakers, and then, we can beat the Nuggets, or, I'm seeing a lot of that. To the Grizzlies, advantage, I will say I do think that Lakers series would have been a lot more interesting if Steven or Brandon or both were healthy. I think Steven Adams and Brandon Clark are both phenomenal glass cleaners and players. All that being said, we do just need to see what this team looks like with Smart, Morant, Adams, Bane, and Jackson out there playing as a 5. They are a bit small 1 through 3, but like I said, with the front court, with Jaren, with Steven Adams, with Brandon Clark, they're all very great glass cleaners and good rebounding big men. As for Sacktown at the 3 seed, try to just keep the culture under Mike Brown alive. The next step is to just do that and then continue to develop Keegan Murray. I think he was absolutely phenomenal in this postseason. He was great in the regular season. It's time, though, to win a playoff series. I think this season was really about making the playoffs and breaking the 17-year drought. But next season, I think the city of Sacramento will need to have at least a victory in a series, not just winning a couple playoff games. Honestly, they are a lot deeper than most of the teams in the Western Conference, and if Sabonis and Fox are both fully healthy, you never really know what would have happened in this series, let alone next year. I think during the Warriors series, you never really know, barring a miraculous 50-point performance for like 5 minutes until Jason Tatum did it the next week. That was the most points scored in Game 7. It's going to be interesting. I think next postseason, they could win 4 to 8 games, and it would be very, very interesting to see them do so. At number 5, we got the Phoenix Suns. I think the next move for the Phoenix Suns is very simple. Fill the roster up with depth. They have 5 people currently on the roster at the moment, and it's very sad. They have no future, they have no depth. So this season, or the next couple seasons, it's really about winning an NBA championship. Outside of Ayton, Beal, Durant, Booker, and Campaign, they have nobody. They have the option to pick up, it's a team option on Ish Wainwright, but I'm not even sure if they're gonna pick that up. It's gonna be very interesting to see what Phoenix does this next season. I guess I'm pulling for them. I do like Kevin Durant. I think he's a great basketball player. Now that they don't have Chris Paul, I'm not really pulling for them as much. I do want to see him win an NBA championship, but I digress. Sorry, the Suns were 4 and the Clippers were 5. I just kind of mixed that up, not 5 and 6. At number 5, we have the Clippers, and it's very simple. Stay healthy. That's literally all I have to say. There is no next move. There is no trade that moves the needle. I think if they got Brogdon, that would have been awesome, but that obviously fell through. You just need to stay healthy and win an NBA championship. If not, this is probably the last season I'm going to be pulling for them and saying this. If it doesn't work, then I guess it is time to sadly blow it up. But you have a new arena this season. You know, Steve Ballmer just built that new arena, and you need to put butts in seats. You need to be selling tickets. So it's very important that this team works out this season and stays healthy. Hopefully there's no turmoil. Hopefully they stay healthy. Huge Kawhi Leonard fan on this channel. I would love to see them play. At number 6, we have the Golden State Warriors. It's very simple. Re-sign Draymond Green. This team has one more championship run at least in them if they can re-sign Draymond Green. The Chris Paul situation is very interesting to me. I think the off-ball movement is going to be crazy, and I really thought that Chris's championship aspirations ended once he ended up in Washington, but now that he ended up in Golden State, it's a real possibility. As for the Los Angeles Lakers, I think you just honestly re-sign Reeves and Rui Hachimura. This helps you compete while also stay somewhat young, and it's very important that they do so because this team does not have a big future. I'd honestly say that going for a big fish is not the move. Damian Lillard, Kyrie Irving, these trades, they're very interesting. They would give you some power come the postseason, but it would completely gut your depth. This team, after trading for D'Angelo Russell, Rui Hachimura, and other pieces like Jared Vanderbilt, they were the second best team in the Western Conference record-wise following that trade. If they can stay healthy, they can for sure make a run. But oddly enough, I don't think that they can compete and be NBA champions. I mean, just the fashion that the Denver Nuggets beat them in. The Nuggets, they're getting a little older, yes, but they're not getting any younger either. The Nuggets aren't getting any younger, but the Lakers are definitely not getting any younger. They're in a very tough space right now, and I'm kind of interested to see how Rob Pelinka and the front office handle this next season. The next step for the Minnesota Timberwolves is to stay healthy and try not to have a problematic season. This team, they were really unhealthy for the first 50 games. I believe the season started, they played like 4 games together. Then Karl Anthony Towns goes down with a lot of injuries. Rudy Gobert goes down with a lot of injuries. And then they look pretty good after trading for Mike Conley, but then they have locker room issues with Kyle Anderson and Rudy Gobert. They have injuries to Naz Reid. Jalen McDaniels gets hurt. I honestly think that this team could be shockingly good next year. Not like compete for an NBA championship, but 6 seed good. I could be wrong. I'm not sure, but that's just my prediction. For the Oklahoma City Thunder, it's very simple. Develop, develop, develop. They should be in no rush to do anything. See how Chet Holmgren looks aside Josh Giddey and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. It's going to be a really fun season for the guys in Oklahoma City. And under that head coach, honestly, they could make the play-in, but honestly, like I said, just develop, 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 see how it looks next season. And for the Pelicans, I kind of have the same mentality with the Pelicans that I do the Clippers, but to a lesser degree. I think this team, well, I know that this team was the 1 seed last year when they were fully healthy, and we saw a lot of great things from players outside of the so-called Big Three. I thought that Trey Murphy, Najee Marshall, and Herb Jones all had really great seasons. The next step is to just find a way to keep Zion Williamson healthy. For the Dallas Mavericks, what a disappointing season, but you kept the top 10 pick, so I guess you got what you wanted. Re-sign Kyrie Irving if possible, and bring in a defensive big man who's a lob threat or can shoot the 3. Someone like Brook Lopez or Clint Capella would be really fun to watch alongside Luka Doncic. I really do enjoy watching Maxi Kleber play for this team, but I think that they're moving on from Christian Wood, so it's time to find a replacement. Even though I think Christian Wood was really great in the minutes he got this season, I just think Jason Kidd did not want to play him that much, and maybe that's why they're moving on from him. For the Utah Jazz, let's see how the new pairing of Laurie and John Collins work this postseason. They just traded for Rudy Gay and a second-round pick, which is absolutely another Danny Ainge masterclass. I understand Atlanta just wanted to get him off the books, but just very, very interesting how they were able to get him for so little. It's very obvious they're still a few years away from making the postseason contention status, but let's just, you have your first-time All-Star in Laurie Markkanen this last season. Honestly played at an All-NBA caliber. I'm really excited to see what this Jazz team does next year. For the Blazers, get Damian Lillard some new help or move on from him. I don't like talking about this. The Blazers don't like talking about this. Damian Lillard don't like talking about this. It just makes no sense to even play the season out with the same exact roster. We know how it's going to go. They're either going to be a bottom 12 seed in the Western Conference and shut Dame down early. They're going to be like a 6 to 10 seed and make the play-in or playoffs and lose in the first round. It's just, I'm just kind of disappointed. I'm moving on. For the San Antonio Spurs, your next move is 2 words: enjoy Wembanyama. That's all I have to say. Good luck. For the Houston Rockets, make the play-in tournament or get damn close. You guys had an amazing draft. Great moves to the front office, great additions to the front office this postseason, and the coaching staff. And you lost Steven Silas as well. Like, it doesn't really get better than that. I'm really excited to see how you guys play this season. But what do you guys think? Who is going to make the move and move the needle big enough to make a deep postseason run? Which one of these Western Conference teams are you most excited to see? Let me know the answer to all that in the comments below. If you made it this far, I appreciate your support as always. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Stay happy, healthy, and blessed. Peace.